In coming up with these videos, over the years I've coined a couple sayings that I'm really fond of, and one of them is this: liberalism requires us to lie to ourselves and others about the very nature of reality in order to keep the delusion going. It does this in all sorts of ways, but recently there was a great example of this that I wanted to point out. Mr. Beast is one of the biggest YouTubers on the platform. One of his most popular friends that appears in the videos named Chris just recently became transgender. And it's really sad. The guy had a wife and a kid, and he just threw it all away to get his rocks off to cross-dressing and taking hormones and prancing around like a girl and just generally being a degenerate. Well, as you can imagine, this rapid lifestyle change would be hard for anyone to accept. And there were some leaked text messages from one of Mr. Beast's employees between themselves and Jimmy. It went like this. Jimmy says, "Hey, please listen to me very carefully. We have to support Chris. Like, it is critical to the business. Creators have been canceled for less." The employee says, I'll do my best. To be honest, it's just weird when he comes in wearing a dress and acting like a completely different person. Jimmy said, "I know there needs to be an adjustment period, but we need to be completely supportive, even if it is awkward. We need to keep up our views, our conversations. This is a business. You're not alone in your feelings. I'm working it out with her, but just keep the status quo for now." Liberalism requires us to lie to ourselves and others about the very nature of reality in order to keep the delusion going. Do you see it? We can also see that in the end, tolerance for LGBT is always out of a fear of having your life destroyed. Think of the awkward position everyone in this friend group has been put in and how unreasonable it is to be expected to go along with this delusion. Now, let me make an analogy here. Let's say you have an intrusive thought, or the same intrusive thoughts over and over. Maybe it's about killing your boss. It's Friday at 4:30, and here comes your boss to let you know that you'll need to work tomorrow, even though he knows that you told him that you have plans that day to, watch your kid's baseball game or do whatever. But he doesn't care. He's a jerk. He's constantly doing this. This is repeat behavior, and you've grown to seriously resent him, and a hatred has built up inside you for this guy. A solution would be for him to leave or get fired, but he's in good with his boss, and this job allows him to be the dick he truly wants to be, and so he'll never leave. The only way for him to stop, you think, would be to kill him. And this thought rumbles around in your brain for months. Maybe years. You dream about it, you fantasize about it, you create little scenarios in your head about how you'd do it. You watch a ton of videos of other people killing, and you wish that was you. Well, one day, you get curious and you start asking around on the internet, and sure enough, there is a huge community online of people who have killed their bosses. In fact, it's pretty much celebrated everywhere you look, and most people get away with it and they never face any charges or go to jail. Not only did you find a community that has accepted these heretofore taboo thoughts, but they start giving you advice on how to do it. They tell you not only is it morally acceptable to do it, but it's your duty to stay true to yourself and do it. And so you make the leap of faith, and one day you really do kill your boss. You take a knife and you stab him to death first thing Monday morning. Now let's say you're a coworker of the person that I just described. You knew this person for years and they never seemed to be a violent person, but one day you come in and your boss is dead. You're shocked. And you're even more shocked to see that the killer is still there, just walking around. You start to express some feelings of concern and discomfort in being around this person, but you are told that they are special. You need to accept them. And if you don't, you'll be fired, because that kind of attitude will hurt the company, and it's bigoted towards the boss murdering community, and we need to be inclusive. And that's the end of the conversation. To me, That level of delusion is pretty much on the same level as what Chris has done. Men cannot be women. To think that is a delusion. Think of MASH. Klinger tried to get out of the army by claiming that he was insane, and he tried to prove it by dressing like a woman, because that's what insane people do. Men cannot be women, and only insane people think that. You cannot kill your boss for making you work a Saturday. Insane people think that. The sky is green. Insane people think that. Being willing to abandon your young family to start a journey of self-mutilation and chasing the dragon of hedonistic pleasure, embodied in the delusion that you can be a woman, is something that only an insane person would do, and something that only an insane person would support. The sad reality that transgenderism has made clear to us, and we can apply this to all of liberalism in general, is that people will believe insane things when there is mass cultural and societal pressure put on them to do so. Edmund Burke said that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph in the world is that good men do nothing. And my little saying is how they convince you to do nothing. What Mr. Beast wants his employees to do is nothing, rather than what they should do. What your HR department wants you to do is nothing, rather than what you should do. What your therapist wants you to do is nothing, rather than what you should do. There is society-wide enforcement of liberalism and its decrees, which means that if you somehow get a glimpse of how insane it all is, and you decide to speak up about it, you will be told to be quiet because the alternative is unimaginable. Oh my God, we could be canceled. We could lose money, or the whole business. We could be on the wrong side of history. Trans people could be killed based on our response. We could be cast as Nazis or fascists or bigots or racists or xenophobes. On and on and on the list of pejoratives goes. These are containment techniques designed to rein you back in. And the sad part is it works. And the system knows it works. And that's why they do it. And that's why they win. It's not hard to see through the delusion, but it is hard to stand up to it. And most people don't. I feel bad for Jimmy's employees, because they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I feel even worse for Chris's family. Imagine being his kid and growing up and realizing that your dad abandoned you and your mom to be alone so that he could be a pervert. Imagine being his wife and realizing that your husband turned out not only to be mentally retarded, but a degenerate sicko on top of that, and that you can't fix it or do anything besides go through life without who you, as of 2 months before, thought was a good man. These delusions destroy lives, and we should never forget or forgive that. These delusions rely on our cowardice, and they bet on us wimping out of what we need to do. Don't forget that. Anyways, this is all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed this video and type of content I'm making, consider giving this video a like or maybe subscribing. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.